But welcome everyone. Welcome to our Thriving Conversation. And every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, we will have guests come on to share with us their journey, their thriving stories, and their lesson that they learned, the life experience that they had, and share with us so you can actually be part of the beneficial of how you can thrive also. But today we have Annie, and like always, I am asking Sarah to open the curtain with introducing herself.
Of course. I'm happy to. Hello, everybody. Good to be back. Again, I'm Sarah M. I'm from Cambodia. I grew up as a child in the countryside, and then when I reached college age, my country was taken over by the communist Khmer Rouge, and our life had turned upside down, never turned back. So we struggled to survive, and I was put in the death camp, almost did not make it. But God saved me, and I'm here to tell you that no matter what happened, if you keep your faith, you keep persevering, you want to survive, you want to reach your goal, you can. And that's why I'm here to share the encouragement with you. And this month we are talking about contentment and encourage contentment and resentment. So I am content that God put me here with you. So that's all I want to share. And I also wrote my story in the book. It's how I survived the killing fields. That's available on my website, sarahim.com. And if you need to know learn more about me, you can go to my website, sarahim.com. That's all I want to say. Back to you, Lee.
Thank you, Sarah. So that's half of my co-host who's beautifully, courageously being here with me every day since last year, March 24th. My name is Lee Tran. If you have not yet and know who I am here pretty much the talker. I am also a former refugee, but I came out from Vietnam. Funny that I am not Vietnamese, even though I was born in Vietnam. I'm Chinese from both sides of the family. So I consider myself as Chinese minority in Vietnam. And we left Vietnam as a mass exodus, also trying to run away from communism. So I was here since 1980, and the journey is nothing but courageous, and contentment is much, much later in life because, you know, when you go through a struggle, when you go through a lot of trial and tribulation, you hardly content. But contentment is when you actually realize that all of that happened for a purpose. And that's when I got contentment in order to get me to get my story out. So I also told my story on the TEDx stage 2 years ago, and then I tell my memoir, and now I am also a life coach. So I love to inspire my message to the audience to get them to be courageously taking action, and then be happy and accept and content with who they are so they can move further. And today we have Annie, and I am also a speaker too. If you need a speaker, we are speakers here. So, you know, we always love to inspire our audience to do the things that they deserve and whatever, you know, life they deserve in life. But we have Annie here. Annie Hardock is, she want to tell the her story of courageous, because I think, you know, we all have to be courageous at some point to get out of our ruts. And Annie is no different. She has come from a family of poverty of 11 children, right?
9 children, 11 in the family.
11 in the family, 9 children. Nevertheless, that's pretty still a big number. I mean, it's 9 and 11 is not a huge difference in Asia family, but to American, yeah, even 9 is sound, you know, like very crowded. But anyway, I'm sure she's gone through quite a bit. And the theme is contentment, but Annie is going to share with us how she is actually courageously stepping out of her comfort zone and turn things around and find the way that she is able to be content and doing things with her son. And not only just that, but also help the community. So I'm not going to tell the whole story. I'm going to let Annie tell us who she is and her journey and how but she thrive out of that journey. So welcome, Annie.
Thank you. Thank you, Leah and Sarah, for the opportunity to be here today. I actually heard of the both of your books and then also your experience like during the war and genocide, and I thought, wow, it's that's really that required like lots of courage and able to thrive like through those experience, right? You know, like
but that's, you know, we all have going through a courage journey one way or the other. It doesn't have to be war. Sometimes people going through a hardship, a terminal illness, recovering from a cancer, or lost a loved one. That is a very courageous journey as well. Because sometimes you can feel very, very lonely in a journey that it feels like the wall, the sky is falling on top of you. And I'm sure it's just a different type of trauma. And we were in there just because we were in there. And I'd love to hear, it doesn't have to be dramatic in a sense, but I think that trauma is all how we put it, how we see it. Because sometimes, you know, trauma could be for a teenager not going to a prom. That prom can be a trauma, or being rejected by their friends. You know, I mean, it's like it could be a trauma, and it does not have to be something drastically. But we love to hear how you overturn that stigma of being poor, and how did you get out, and what made you really find a way to secure your financial and teaching your son, and also bring that to the community.
Yes, thank you. Just let you know, like I actually can understand your story, both of your story, because actually I was born in the early 60s so, in Hong Kong, right? It was a British colony, right? So like what happened like in Vietnam, like and Cambodia, like I already like it was like close to teenager, so I understand everything, right? Like no, I mean I can feel it even when I was at young age, right? Because actually even when I was just little, there were refugees like from China. They swam through the
I'm sure you see a lot, yeah.
Even my mom, she left China when she was 16, but left behind my grandmother that she didn't see for 30 years, right?
Wow.
And then my father also left her a long time ago, because my dad actually was 50 years older than me. So his experience is like both of my parents never really get the education, right? That's what it's really influenced me a lot in seeing the value of education.
Yeah.
Right? Because they work really hard, and when I was little, it's like they fight a lot. It's all about money, right? So at a very young age, when I hear all these fighting, then I just felt, well, I have to be independent, like financially independent. I don't want to ask my husband for money, right? Like so that was in my mind, like for since at young age, planted the seed, right? And I came to Canada in 1980 for higher education.
Same here. We all come in 1980, 81.
81 for me.
Because I was fortunate that like after, you know, just my first 10 years, like we were living in a really, like to me, it was bad condition. But as a child, you don't know. You don't know what the better life, what's the
Right.
better conditions anyway.
Right.
So by the time I was teenager, my dad actually, his business took off, and so yeah, back to like about poverty, like back when I yeah, the living condition where I was is like we didn't have a washroom, like really, like it's just like dry toilet. That every other day someone will come to empty it, but it's in the middle of the night that he would, like, she would carry a bucket and come, like go door to door and like
Wow. That's in Hong Kong or in Canada?
in Hong Kong.
Hong
Right.
Kong. Right.
So that's what I'm just saying. There's different
Yeah.
classes back then. It's like some people extremely rich and some was like really poor, and
Right.
we were at the bottom of the hill. Like, that's how I see the classes. Like those
Right.
living higher in the mountain, they have more wealth, right?
Mhm.
And we
Mhm.
were at the really bottom.
Yeah.
But like to me, it's like now I look back, I just thought, well, I'm glad that I like actually I lived through those experiences, and knowing like you started to value everything. You don't feel
Absolutely.
entitled everything, because it's hard to get. So like to me, it's I think from childhood that having that mindset that I do need to try to get like better and in
Mhm.
everything in order to get out of those situations that I just feel like, I see others that, well, you can have a better life. I think it's like pursuit of the quality of life has always
Right.
been what I've been striving for, right?
Mhm.
So everything I come across, I value them. I see the positive side instead of always just like, well, I don't know. That's my mindset. I go like from, I see any crisis become opportunities. Like to me, I have this entrepreneurial mindset. I think it's built from there. And how I like, so that's the first segment, like of like living through poverty, and then when my dad's business took off, then I came to Canada, and that's to me is the second phase of my life, right? And I actually got my education, and then I got a really good position in the financial industry because I actually in technology.
Okay.
That didn't satisfy me. I guess is the entrepreneurs is getting that freedom. Uh, I I just want to do what I'm passionate about.
We have very, very similar path in a way, because I think at the early stage in life, you do it so you have a secure job, you have a stable paycheck, you belong to the corporate, you're a shield from the financial burden, because you know that you have a corporate benefit, you have 401k. But then after a while, I think I'm speaking for you, I'm not sure, but your freedom crying out so much louder than the 9 to 5
Yes.
confinement.
Confinement, that's the word. It's like
Yes. And I used to, I hear you completely, because I used to stand inside my laboratory, which is a big, huge window. And I used to look outside, and I was like, I wonder, what is it like to be free, running around, creating your own business, meeting people, instead of being chained here from 9 to 5, sometimes 8 to 6. And your mind wander, because like, there's a certain amount of freedom, and there's a worry too. It's like, okay, now if I'm gonna break loose, am I gonna make it out there without this bubble, this protection bubble from a corporate? So you left. You courage.
I can tell you the experiences. Like I actually, after graduated from university, I only really worked like about 5 years in corporate job in 2 banks, right? What happened with the life-changing experience I had was that I had a near-death experience. That was from my first well, miscarriage.
Okay.
But I got into a complication. I think that it was like 18 weeks, but it was unexpected. That like
Yeah.
I went for checkup and then
It's a scary experience. Yeah.
oh yeah, like I totally didn't expect that. They just told me the fetus that it's gone.
Wow.
You know, like 18 weeks. And so they say, oh, they need to operate. So I was in the operating room, but the next thing I knew, it was like I was in there for 5 hours. So I was so I got into a complication that suddenly my blood would be clotting and suddenly hemorrhaging.
Wow.
So when I woke up actually in the intensive care, I just noted all my bruises on my arms, right? Like everywhere it was like just bruises. I didn't know what's happened, but I just knew I was near death.
And that wakes you up from the passion about, I better have time, do whatever I want to do. Yeah.
Yes. I think it's just shortly after I recover, I actually quit my job, and then I became a system consultant. Like, so I started my own system consulting company.
Yeah.
So then I just like, you know, work on different financial company, like mostly like it was bank, right? And just having more control of my life and my time.
So did you thrive immediately, or was it going through quite a tough period to build up that business?
No, actually, being a system consultant is because of the knowledge that I have, right? Like in the and also at that time in the early 90s, it was really hot. Like we are like commodity, like all the banks.
Oh, so yeah.
A system being developed for the financial, like yeah, now they call it fintech, but because I was in mathematics, right? I graduated from University of Waterloo, which is famous like for computer science. That's what I was in, but also in the math faculty. So I was really good in the understanding all the financial instruments for trading. So we were developing systems for financial institution for trading, investment, or in the back office supporting their system. Right. So I had no difficulty at all. And so it was really fast in building that. But when my son was born in 1994, actually, that's in the middle of it. And I just knew I wanted to spend time with him, and because life is precious.
Oh my God, our life is so parallel. It is hard to me to imagine. I also have a miscarriage, and my son is also born in 1994.
Oh, in September.
Oh, mine's in December.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. But it's such a parallel in a sense.
Yes.
And I can speak Cantonese. So but I'm Chiuzhou. I'm you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So because of that experience, so I actually had the system consulting for about 5 years, and then I decided to incorporate that business and develop and started an internet business, because internet was just so new at that time.
Right.
It wasn't really commercialized that much. So I combined it too, system consulting with the internet development, because I decided that and we'll also just shortly before, before my son was born, we moved to this small little town where I away from Toronto, which takes almost an hour to commute, right? Town. So after I have my son, and I just thought that's not the type of life I want, leaving my baby with someone else and then commute, right? And I did it for about 7 months after he was born, and I just said by the 6 months, I said I would have almost missed his first smile, or I would have missed certain things that during the baby, the development of the baby, because I was in I have my own business. That's why I didn't get the maternity leave, whatever the benefits that Canada has, really benefits, but I didn't rely on that. So so what I see was the value then I see was about really raising my son. I that was my mission, because I think the why I was so passionate about it, because of the first miscarriage that I had, right? Then I thought life is so precious. And the time with your child is so precious. And I believe in early childhood development, because I see so many parents struggling when their kids becomes teenager.
Yeah.
And because it starts from when they're really young, like the intention that you give, the love that you give, it's when those are critical years. Just
Absolutely.
give, right? So I intentionally built a business around that. I can have an internet business because I have the technical skills, and also that's the opportunity. It's like 24/7. You can work whatever time, and I'm a night owl, so my son never even know that I was like working all the time, right? So I created the business because of the lifestyle that I wanted to choose. That's why I say my whole life is like pursue the quality of life to get better what I want. It's not work, not living in someone else's schedule. 9 to 5 job is someone else's schedule.
Sure.
Right. So that's why I'm in home-based business. Like I started it in 1996. I started the internet business, right? But at that time, people didn't see it that way.
Did you have that AOL dial? I am on the internet.
The dial-up like so slow, and then you can't really write anything like for websites, because lots of people cannot see it when you put more graphics in it, so everything quite like text-based type of website, right? But I developed, I created a business. I just knew that I wanted the platform to be using the internet. And what I did was, because I didn't know anything about the town that we had moved into, because we just fall in love with the 10 acres hobby farm.
Wow.
Right. So that's why we moved into the space.
10 acres.
Yeah, it wasn't my passion at that time, but it was my but I just thought, well, what a life that I can create and have my own time, and I have the skill set to build website or to build a community. Oh, that's what happened. I end up, because when we moved into the town, we didn't know anyone, because we just loved the property. We didn't actually know the town at all. Right? So actually it was, I encountered one racial comment from a town councilor in front of 7 business people. But I was new, right? I didn't know. And then I just thought, wow. Well, basically what she said is, what are we going to do with 500 Asians all coming into town? Wow, I was the only Asian. There's only a handful, less than, I didn't know even Asian family that really, maybe I just knew a couple of them, even after years. But yeah. So it's that diversity.
He can collect taxes.
You know what? Because of her comment, I decided to change the way how I built my business, because I just thought, wow, that's really hard to build build my business in a small town that I didn't even know anyone.
Yeah.
It took me almost a full year to even try to find my market, locally.
You're a pioneer. You're a pioneer at that time. Internet.
Yeah, I can tell you, when I say, so I created a networking group. It's a networking group, but at that time, people think when I say networking group, they're thinking of system networking, like the network. Because I actually help banks to build their the wide area network, local area network. Wow. So people think it is system-wise. So that's how uncommon it is, to have the word. So I end up with knowing that how politicians get their power in town, that no one's there to say a word, right? But it's because they gain the trust, and people like them, right? It's being voted, right, by voting process. It's not like how much education you get. That's what I mean. I just thought, wow, I received this education. It means nothing. To build a small business in a town, you need.
I'll be right back.
You really need the connection. So what I learned from that experience is, instead of getting upset of anyone, I just saying, well, I'm going to connect with other people, right? So I
started Zoom before Zoom even started.
Oh yeah. What you said was right. AOL was.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's just wonderful. You already have the mindset light year ahead of everybody else.
Yes, I
And
can
then-
tell you what, when I told people at that time that I have a home-based business, they wrote down on their form, oh, you're a homemaker, housewife. It's like, all right, thank you. That's what you see. That's how people not appreciate people that are having that mindset of
Right.
creating a life and have a home-based business. They couldn't even believe that it's
Right.
possible. They think that, oh, because I worked for banks before, right? And they think that, oh, yeah, like how can you trust someone working from home, right? Like, but it's like we're not little kids. Some
Right.
people might be, but we are.
So your clients mostly bank at the time, or is that
The
still
system
now?
consulting part. The system consulting part
Okay.
was banks, but by the time I think 1997, 97 or so, I decided that I wasn't going to do that side hustle. I was totally just focusing on building the business locally and started a
Freelance.
networking group. So my networking group is now 23 years this year, and my business is like 25 years, right? So like that business, I have two businesses. So that's what I see. I always see whatever the, whether it's crisis or things that go away, I see opportunity.
It
You
is.
utilize that as an opportunity. So that's what I say, from surviving to thriving. I just thought, how do I start a new business in a small town that I didn't know anyone, and people not even, welcoming you, right? So
I think you're absolutely right on the people that who come from struggle. They don't see adversity as a roadblock, but they see how we're going to go around it, what kind of hoops we're going to jump to get over it.
yes.
And there are opportunities.
I look for, like, because when you talk about racism, actually, I don't really talk much. I do have incidents, like someone called me to like go back home. I was just doing my yard work in front of my house, but I don't tell people like that. But I just do upset that actually the person that said that to me was a young male, like maybe in their early 20s. So I just thought, oh my God, like, I can understand people that, maybe older and they might not have that experience, like, like in a small town that they didn't came across these people. But when you see the like young people doing that, that means they got influenced by whatever that's their environment, because people don't want to be racist.
I know usually millennial, I mean, they're very inclusive. I know that my son's friends and, they're all very tolerant. They are very cultural.
Yes, so it depends on who they are surrounded.
True.
Right? So,
Right.
so that's why when I say education, that I see a value, it's not just about academic education.
Right.
Right. So everyone is just like trying to learn and understand the other's perspective.
Right.
So that's what I always striving, like, from whatever the difficulty, that's become my challenge. And I just love challenge to get me to the next level. Right?
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about your online business that you created with your son.
Yes. So 10 years ago, when he actually was in grade 10, just that summer, because I just told him, get a job or do something. And he ended up like teaching children that summer the abacus math, which is a technique that utilizing the ancient Chinese abacus.
I love it. I used to be able to do that when I was young.
Yeah, so they use that method instead of seeing numbers to do math. They actually see the beats movement in their mind, right? So he was trained that way, like when he was 6, like for about 4 or 5 years. So I just told him to do it, like, and just for the summer. But end up, all the parents saying, "Oh no, continue," because it's a long-term program. We have curriculum that's like good for 4 years, but it's a skill set that we train. It's not like a school curriculum following the school system. So we have this method, and I believed in it because I see the results. So we started that and having a location. So just 2 months after he started, and then I just saying, oh yeah, let's get a location, because of this entrepreneur. I just have that trust, like, believe in it. I actually risk and well, being a single mom too. Like I was a single mom since he was 4 years old. So I got a location and we just started it. And of course, before he went to university, I knew he was going to, be away. Well, he chose the furthest one that he wanted. He went
Don't
to
they want to leave home?
Yes, so I had trained another teacher, local, and she worked for me for 5 years. So I always see these opportunity, but abacus, that that method, I came across it when I was a young age. Like I said, like when my dad's business took off, it was he didn't start his restaurant business till like I was like probably in kindergarten age. Yes. So I was waiting for them, like, to close the restaurant. You know what happened? They used the abacus to do the,
Do the calculation. You're calculating, yeah.
I learned, and it is so stimulating. Like back then, the abacus is using wood, right? So you can hear those
Hear
click.
the sound, yeah.
So that's why I believe that what our system train the children to do is actually arouse their interest first, right? Like they have to be interested with this tiny little cute abacus. So it's actually trained them on their fine motor skill, right? It's very fine movement to move the beats. And then the second point is about speed listening. So it's the listening training, which was like the technique was actually developed in Japan, and it actually empower like 19 different brain powers, right? And this third one is about visualization. Visualizing the beats movement, just like now adults trying to meditate and learn about how to visualize images in their mind. But we train children at very young age how to visualize and everything very clearly. Now when you people saying like they want to dream and they have to dream it in their mind to manifest it, and all my kids that get trained, they are really good in visualizing.
So how old are these kids and how often do you teach them?
Yes, we actually train children like from 4 years old and up. And actually the window of opportunity is actually very small. You know how quickly like children learn language when they start to talk, and I don't know how many words just come out in their mouth. And then, but when you now try to learn a language, it takes a long time, right? So the same with how do you develop the child's brain?
Sponge.
Yes, to get the sponge is very so we chose the time frame is between 4 and 12 that they get trained by then. But I also like striving because of the unfortunate scenario during the pandemic. We all like locked down. Like actually Ontario still locked down. We're just reopening this Friday for the first stage, but still indoor. It's not like it will be wait until the third stage. So my business would have been closed a long time.
Right.
We cannot survive not having the door open, and then also like lots of kids were in virtual school. Actually, the public school system did not reopening until September, right? So for our after school program really suffer is like during the day if children are already on virtual school, it's very difficult to get them also on after school, online.
So it's all this math method online. Would they help the schoolwork math, or you have your own system of a different curriculum compared to the school that they teach?
So our curriculum is teaching the basic, which every kid needs. It's like add, subtract,
addition, subtraction, multiplication.
Do it without any tools using this.
No need for a calculator.
But in this process, we actually train them how to focus and how to engage, right? And also increase their memory capacity and even intuitive thinking, because it's working for the whole brain. So what, like, because I study math, like you normally use the logical side to process information, but the method that we use is actually push all the information to the other side of the brain, the creative side, to process, to do the calculations, because it's pictorial form and visualization. They should be like, feel like meditating.
Do you do anything in the financial world for adult, or you just, this is your main focus at this point for children to learn?
So the abacus program, we actually, I developed it for the seniors. Actually, when we did it for about 3 years. for seniors. I actually had delivered the program also for 10 months at the long-term care like weekly program.
No, it's fun. I think
Yes.
It's a good idea because that's create the mental activity that
yeah.
Yes, because it's continuous learning and learning a new skill. Like people think that, oh yeah, they're doing something, they're doing bingo, they're doing this. No, something new. You have to totally twist your brain. Like, so our material is totally new, like to other people that not familiar with it, right? By learning the new skills is creating the new pathway. And also like, it's important to practice. Why we suggest like kids to do like, you can reject like saying not homework or whatever, but I'm just saying when you ride a bike, you still have to practice.
Yeah,
You don't just think you just get on the bike and you know how to do it, right? Still require practice to get that skill.
So yeah, a lot of people sign up because all the kids are at home for COVID and they do everything is through the internet. So this is perfect for you to even get them to like math in a different way of looking at the number.
Yes, we actually have a fun fair on June 19th. It's a Saturday. In a week or so. Yes, Saturday. It's at from 3 to 4:30 Eastern time. And we actually introduce many different activities. And because that leads to our summer programs, because I collaborate with other educators that we actually, because these are things that's not being taught at school.
Well, remind me to introduce you with some of the other youth working groups. I have a couple friends who also work in that population. Teen and tween. I don't know, is that too old because you are looking at 4 years old to whatever age?
To 12.
To 12.
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe there's a good connection there that you guys, I mean, with pop-up summers, that so many things that kids gonna be staying home.
Yes. Like for a teenager, they can learn too. It's just that they have to, accept this new concept. Yeah. The hardest thing is they still continue using theirs. Like I can't read in your mind whether you're using our method or the other.
Well, Sarah and I are gonna sign up for the senior program.
Okay, no, you don't have to be now. Actually, I actually have another session workshop actually planned it on June 30th. And together with Mora, like she's a transformation coach, and we're doing one for adults.
It's fun. I usually have a small set and a bigger set at home. My grandma got one, and I have a plastic one. My grandma got a wooden one, and I haven't done it for like 40 some years.
You know what? I love
the Chinese calculator.
Yeah, the abacus.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't know how to use it.
I have a small one, just showing you.
Yeah, it is fun.
Yeah,
I
used to see it, but I never use it, so I have no idea.
Yeah, way before the calculator was invented.
Right, my mom know how to use it.
Oh my God! Look at that giant one.
This is. Oops. I just have to show you. I just have it blurred.
Yeah, I know.
Have a huge abacus, right?
You know, that is a great gift for people to purchase for kids too, because it's different, it's new.
It would be interesting to see like parents or grandparents with their
it's fun. It's definitely fun. And I would love to introduce to my son is 26, but someday I'll get one and I'll teach him how to do the basic calculation based on the abacus.
Together with your son, like June 30th. Yeah.
Oh, my nephew, my 9 years old nephew. Oh my God, he's a hood. He loves business, very business mindset. I am gonna put all the information, how people can find you. I know that we went a little over time, but tell us how people can find you, how people can sign up for their kids, your workshop. Tell us here, and then put the information on our website, on our group also.
Yes, so it's Easy Math for Kids. anniesvoice.net, and you will get on that link, you will get a step-by-step process to transform your child to become an eager and engaged learner.
Oh, I'm gonna forward that information to my brother.
Yeah, because from that guide, I also include my video about this demonstration class.
Yeah.
Of what the abacus is, and is as an introduction, right? So they can also contact me on Annie's Voice. I just love them. Annie,
Awesome.
Annie. I really
Annie's
want my
Voice, yes.
voice to be heard now.
Anniesvoice.net to .com.
Anniesvoice.com. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I think this is so fun for introducing math in a very different way that kids might see something that is ancient. It's proven that it's worked, all thousands of years of Chinese, calculations and all of that. But thank you for reintroduce that to the society that where everybody's can't do math unless they have a calculator. And we used to calculate everything in our head, right? Now it's like, oh, I can't do it unless I find a calculator.
You know what? I always use the analogy of back then, old days, you do the dial-up using the modem, dial-up internet access versus the high-speed internet access, right?
Yeah.
There's a big difference. Do you want your brain or your child's brain be a dial-up or be the high-speed? Like that can process a lot of information at a time. And there's hope for adults. You build new pathways and we can help.
That's
like
awesome.
I can help.
Well, thank you so much, Annie. Thank you for bringing this fun and thriving career that you're embarking. And so you're still dealing with bank, but you also have this venue for fun with kids. So you have two businesses, right?
Not with the bank. Like the bank was early on in my career as a system consultant.
Okay.
Yes, but it doesn't mean that I would never get in. I'm into I have the background that able to do technology and financial side. So tech is a high.
2 seconds, real quick. I know that you are also an author of this powerful book, From Women Who Boss Up, something like that. Tell us real quick.
Women Who Boss Up.
Are you part of it?
Yes. Asian Women Who Boss Up, and they're like 16 co-author, and we got the international bestseller.
Awesome.
In February, it was just launched, and I wish like everyone should take a look at the book, and then you can also pre-order from my website, anniesvoice.com, and I will send you also a signed copy. Right?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Annie. Sarah, you